So I don't know if you've realized this, but we are living in very interesting times. We are living in times where things are being shuffled around and things are being, are so unpredictable. You cannot just, plan so far ahead. It's just like everything gets messed up at times so quickly. This is a time where we need to live in the full confidence that God is with us and that God is for us. And that God has already prepared my way and your way to walk in the fullness that is destined for us before time began. That's the way and the life of a Christian. It's a life of faith. But we are not entering into times of miracles. We have already entered into times of miracles. God is showing now and revealing to the earth today who is in covenant with Him and who is not. And when we are in covenant with the Lord, it means power. It means that God's purpose will prevail, not the circumstances that the devil wants to sell me. Not the circumstances that the news is wanting to tell me. But what God is revealing to me in His Word. That needs to prevail in my life because I'm a covenant person. Now, the only place we can get there and we can experience miracles is to spend time with God in our secret place and really investing into intimacy with the Lord. Because intimacy births. There's no conception without intimacy. Your ministry is your relationship with the Lord. Nothing less and nothing more. What I'm experiencing with the Lord in my private time is what I deliver in my public space. And it's not connected to a title, it's just connected to a relationship. It's just connected to a flowing relationship that's not set in stone, that's just flowing as God is wanting me to flow today. I don't plan, I'm a planner. I want to know tonight what I'm going to wear tomorrow morning. But I've come to realize that God can mess up my plans. Because you see, there are many plans in a man's heart, but it's the Lord's purposes that prevail. And so as we go up on the mountain of God to birth miracles or to receive our miracle in the secret place, it will be birthed in the natural as well and revealed there. As I go down to the valley, even maybe if it's the valley of death, because we do go through some hardships and some trauma in life. Who of you know that life is not only about health, wealth, and happiness? Maybe you're living on another planet where you're experiencing it there. But I know that even though I'm going through a hardship, I go through the hardship of a promise. And that promise, God's intention is for it to become a reality. And so I go to the mountain to get that promise, to work that promise, to really believe in that promise, and go to the valley and reveal that promise to my valley. But I want to say to you today, that the day of your birth on the face of this earth, God placed you in a current. He placed you in a river, and a flowing river, a river with purpose, a river with a dream, a river with imagination. And as a child, you grew up with dreams. You grew up with this, this image about what the future holds for you, and you could think big. And all of a sudden, life started to happen. And it's just like you fell out of your spirit into some kind of ego, some kind of pride, or some kind of mistake. And that imagination has been robbed from you. The dream has been stolen from you. You fell out of your spirit into something else. Just like Moses, when he was born, he was hid on the Nile River. He was in the current, the flow of God. And he lived for 40 years in the place of destiny, where God wanted him to act on something that's in his heart that was placed there by God, a holy call, a divine call, a purpose, an assignment for his life. But he acted prematurely. He was a high-profile person in the land of Egypt, but something happened prematurely in his life. He acted on something he carried in his heart. Prematurely, he killed a man. It wasn't God's purpose for him to kill a man. He made a mistake. And what did he do? He ran out of Egypt into the wilderness to save his own skin. Whatever you fear in life will become your master. And it will dislodge you. It will displace you. It will disrupt you out of God's call, God's lane, God's path for you. And it's all designed by the enemy to rob you of who you are, to take away your identity, to steal your dream, to suffocate you, to strangle you, to make you believe there's no breath in this life. But I want to say to you today, there's a holy breath of God that's blowing over the face of this earth. And God is saying to his people, I want you to arise. I want you to take hold of my breath, because the earth is already filled with my glory. You see, the church is still waiting for an outpouring. God is saying, no, you cannot wait for an outpouring. The outpouring has already happened. I need an uprising, God is saying. God says, I need an uprising. And so there's an uprising that's knocking at your door. God is saying, I need you to rise up. I don't know what has dislodged you. I don't know what caused you to run into the wilderness. I don't know what placed you there today. If you're in the wilderness today, I want to say to you that God is coming for you. And I want to say this to you, I don't care. I've known the Lord now for 37 years, but I've never experienced the intensity of God's Spirit moving in my life like I'm experiencing it today. And if you want to ignore that, I'm just saying to you that you're missing out on the greatest move of God on the face of the earth. And God is about to change your situation. God is about to change your circumstances. God is about to change the thing that has come against you, that has tried to limit you, that has tried to suffocate you, and that has tried to silence your voice. Because you have a voice, and God needs to speak through your lips. God needs to declare his goodness through you and release his power through you. And so what happened with Moses? Now he's at the back end of the desert. I'm talking to many Moseses here today. If you're a lady, you may be Deborah or Esther or Ruth or Christine or Jenny. I don't know who you are today. I don't know where Satan has caused you to run to. I don't know how far you are from God today. But I want to say to you today that God is coming for you. You may be at the back end of the desert, just like Moses at the back end of the desert. And what happened to Moses when he was at the back end of the desert? For 40 years. Now, 40 years is a long time. It's a very long time. Not many of us have been struggling for 40 years with the same problem. At 40 years, he was tending the sheep, the back end of the desert, and suddenly he saw a burning bush far away, the Bible says. You know, burning bush is not an uncommon thing in the desert. It happens. Spontaneous combustion of bushes happens because of the heat, but then they burn out in a flash and they're gone. And so he was looking at this burning bush, thought, oh wow, another burning bush. Turn away, looked at it again that way, said, yes, but this bush is thick, it's still burning. Thought by himself, okay, let me just have another. This cannot be. I have to check why this thing is still burning. And he went to the mountain of God, Mount Sinai. That's where that bush was burning. And he walked up closer. The moment he came close to the burning bush, first thing God started speaking to him. He said to him, get off the sandals of your feet, because the territory you're standing on is holy. This means you are walking into territory that thinks differently than you do, that knows who you are, that knows how I created you, that knows the current I put you in, that knows the flow that I put you in since the day you were born, but it's been robbed from you. I need you to take everything off that's come with your past up until now, because now you are standing on uncommon territory, because that's one of the definitions of holiness. It means to be uncommon. You are walking into a time where you will be uncommon in this day. You will speak differently, you will act differently, you will talk differently, you will walk differently. Some of you, God is changing your rhythm, the way you do things. God is changing your habits. God is changing your style. And so now God starts speaking to Moses And he tells Moses what he needs to do for him. What does Moses say? No, 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 no. Send someone else. You see, Moses lost he lost his identity. He lost his adequacies. He lost his confidence. He lost everything he knew he was. He was not up to the task that God was trying to convey to him. It's impossible, God, send someone else. But you see, something happened in that conversation in the presence of God between Moses and God. Moses experienced the nature of a being, a divine being that created him, that sent him to this earth, that put him in a flow, that know what he was designed for, that know how special he was, that knew exactly how Moses should function. He experienced something in the presence of that divine being where he said, I love this person. I'm not going to do it for the assignment. I'm not going to do it because I'm going to be the deliverer of a nation. I'm not going to do it because God is giving me a promise that I need to take and convey to his people. I'm going to do it because I love this person. God is taking us back to our first love. God is taking us back to our first love. I want to say to you today that God is peeling off layers in our lives. Why? Because he wants to get right to the core of our being.